Deb from Skein Sisters. Do you remember this jumper that I was making about this time last year? And I can remember that because I had to take Rupert, my little boy, to a sleep study. And if I think back, it was actually last weekend that I did that. And at that sleep study, I didn't sleep. He had to sleep. I did this bit down here on the ribbon. Well, it's not ribbing, it's a beautiful kind of lace little edging. This is the Fynbos Sweater, which is Fynbos by Teddy Lutzak. And so all that time ago, I did that little band, and then I was kind of doing the sleeves and going, this sleeve is too wide and I need to make it narrower. And I put it in the bottom of my kind of whip, my project. Sort of, I've got a beautiful chest in my bedroom, and I put it in there and I've left it there. And the other day I went, you know what, I'm nearly at the end of all of my whips, which I can't quite believe. I have to get this one back out because it's winter and I've got to actually fix it. So I've done my new sleeve and I've made it just that little bit narrower down through here compared to this one. So I will take this one back to my elbow, and all I did was, I think the repeats, the decreases up here were every 10 rows. I've made it every 7. I've just narrowed it a little bit. And yeah, then I'm going to keep going with my sleeves. But what I'm going to talk about today is the fact that it's too short. So for me, I actually need this down more about here somewhere. It's just the proportion of this stocking stitch bit here is too short for my longer body. So I'm going to cut it. I'm a little bit nervous. I've not really done this before. So we're going to do it together, okay? And see how we go. All right, I've got to take it off. I've got needles sticking in me everywhere. Okay. So let's sit down, Janine. What I've done is,
around here.
The back. I just had one of these magic cords in, and I've decided that the place to cut it is just above. See how there's a garter ridge through here? It's just above that, because what I'll have to do is actually graft them back together again. So I have just picked up the entire row just above that garter bit, and see how I'm just picking up one leg with
the right hand leg.
The right hand leg with my needle, and that way when I go to knit it again, it will be facing the correct way with the front leg more to the right. And I'm just going along and picking them all up there. I'm using a slightly smaller needle, so it's easy to do that. And I'm very nearly at the end. Okay, nearly there. There is absolutely no way that I'm undoing this bottom bit and redoing it, because this little lacy edging took me so long. It's very beautiful, but just some of the stitches in it are just time consuming, and it's all, so can you see how the stitches are slightly twisted? So that's knitting it through the back loop, and that takes a bit longer, and so on. So there we go. I've got all of that row on that needle. Now what we do is we need another needle, which I've got here, and I'm just going to cut it.
Don't you need to put...
No, you don't. So, because what will happen is when this unravels, because you imagine when you knit, you go around the rows, right? So this should just come undone like this, and then I'm going to pick up that stitch there.
I was going to say.
You were nervous, weren't you?
Well, I'm like, you have 2 halves. You need to pick up more stitches.
I have to, but I'm...
Sorry, I'm going to get down in your face.
Yeah, that's fine. So I'm not going to worry about which way I pick it up. Oops. Let me just do get a few unraveled so we see those stitches. So there we go. Got 1, 2, 3. So what I could do is probably go along that whole row and pick them up.
Yeah,
but
and then cut in between.
Yeah, but I'm quite happy doing it this way. Let's get my needle out again. And just pick everyone up as I go. It's not as scary as I thought. It's going to save me so much time.
Okay, so maybe let's talk about what you're going to do once you've got all of those stitches on the needles.
So obviously I'll end up with all of my top stitches on this needle, and this will be then completely taken off. And I'm just going to continue knitting down, because with stocking stitch, well, I've done it from the top down anyway, so it's still going to look exactly the same. And then when we come to graft it, I'll do another video because I'll have to Kitchener stitch it together, which is a particular technique too, which basically forms those wiggles. You have to do it with the needle and the yarn to make it look as though nothing ever happened here. So watch this space.